July 23, 2010, marked the 20th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. For those not familiar with the ADA, it is the one law that was passed in the United States of America that focuses on people with disabilities, outlining and setting down legislation to protect the rights of those living with disabilities to live in the most inclusive communities. The biggest part of the Americans with Disabilities Act is protection from discrimination, especially in the workplace. The Americans with Disabilities Act gave people with disabilities the right to sue when discriminated against, and while it is no means perfect in enforcement, it has opened the doors to unimagined possibilities for people in our community. People1st of Georgia celebrated the 20th anniversary of the ADA by meeting with Kasim Reed, current mayor of Atlanta, to ensure the city's compliance with said historical legislation, as well as maintaining a working coalition to ensure further future ADA as well as Olmstead compliance. And while Barack Obama said, quote, "Today, as we commemorate what the ADA accomplished, we celebrate who the ADA was all about. It was about the young girl in Washington State who just wanted to see a movie at her hometown theater, but was turned away because she had cerebral palsy. Or the young man in Indiana who showed up at a work site, able to do the work and excited for the opportunity, but was turned away and called a cripple because of a minor disability he had already trained himself to work through. Or the student in California who was able and eager to attend the college of his dreams and refused to let the iron grip of polio keep him away from the classroom, each of whom became integral to this cause. It was all about all of you. You understand these stories because you or someone you love lived them, and that sparked a movement. It began when Americans no longer saw their own disabilities as a barrier to their success and set out to tear down the physical and social barriers that were in place. It grew when you realized you weren't alone. It became a massive wave of bottom-up change that swept across the country as you refused to accept the world as it was. And when you were told, "Don't try," you responded with that age-old American creed, "Yes, we can."
Zen Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I'm here with Cheri Mitchelle, also wears many hats with EndeavorFreedom.tv as well, and also has worked with ADAPT, People1st of Georgia, and every other disabled, disability organized leadership community organization out there. I give all kind of props off to Cheri, but she's going to tell us about first. We're going to go back, talk about a little bit with the ADA situation, 20th anniversary of Americans with Disabilities Act. Cheri was part of a group that met with Mayor Shirley Franklin here in Georgia.
No, actually it was Kasim Reed's.
Kasim Reed's. Okay, well, why don't you just go ahead and break down that.
Yes, we met with the mayor, Kasim Reed's, and we also met with some of the people from City Public Works, because we wanted to do something for the ADA, to celebrate the ADA, which we did that by focusing on sidewalks. And one of the things we did was we took a lot of pictures all over town and identified bad sidewalks all over town, and we gave that to them. And it just turned out at the time they were writing a grant, so it came in really handy for them because they could include it in their grant for sidewalks. But we wanted to just make them aware that the fact that for some reason they thought that it was okay to put a lip on those curb cuts. And we had to show them in the ADA toolkit from the Department of Justice that no, it has to be flush. A little bitty 1-inch lip is not acceptable.
Right.
So we got them to realize that, I hope, and that from in the future, I hope, they will make those curb cuts flush. But we also talked about some places that were really broken up, like Cheshire Bridge. We talked about what I call Mount Midtown, because this is a fairly new curb cut. And the thing is got to be a good 20 degrees steep. You know, and that's way over the accessibility.
For people going down.
Yeah, I know a girl that actually got thrown out of her chair trying to go down that one.
Oh my gosh.
I won't even attempt it.
I wouldn't either.
That's the reason I call it Mount Midtown, because it's right there near the train station for MARTA. And it's just ridiculous. The steepness of it is just frightening for somebody in a chair to even try to attempt it, you know. So we did that, and we got that, and we had that conversation, and hopefully, you know, things are going to change, and we're going to see some things happen. We also got a proclamation from the city in support of the anniversary of the ADA, and we got a tentative agreement from Kasim Reeds that the next ADA coordinator they're going to hire is going to be a person of disability. So that's a big deal. You know, because it's kind of insulting. You have an ADA coordinator and they're not a person of disability.
Right. That's fully insulting.
Yeah, that's so insulting. So that's what we did with that.
I want to ask you one other thing too before we leave this point. In the interview that I was doing with Joseph, we had mentioned that you guys are still working ongoing with Public Works, right?
Right,
Okay.
yes.
So
I'm continuing to send them identified sidewalks and curb cuts that need to be fixed.
Okay, this is the thing that we had talked about. For people that live in Georgia, live in Atlanta, and if they have certain problems with certain sidewalks, how do they get that information to you so that they can...
They can email that to me. My email address is CherimitchellG@gmail.com, and they can email that to me, you know, and I'll be glad to forward that to the city of Atlanta if they have a curb cut or that's too steep or broken up, or if they have a broken up sidewalk, or if a bus stop is inaccessible. If they will email those things to me, I will be glad to make sure it gets forwarded to the right people.
In the email, should they include like just the location, the intersection?
They need to include
and photos, like detailed
yes.
description of the...
Right.
Okay.
They need to include the where, you know, where is it at? If it's the sidewalk on Cheshire Bridge, then where at on Cheshire Bridge? Is it in front of 2170 Cheshire Bridge? Is it in front of 2097 Cheshire Bridge? They need to include the location so that Public Works will be able to find it and fix it.
And please do include photos if at all possible.
You know, the problem with including photos is that you can only really email one at a time, because email will go too big.
Right.
But one at a time you can email to me.
Okay, wonderful. Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I'm here with Josh Cusack of People1st of Georgia. And Josh is going to tell us about two different things, but first we're going to talk about the 20th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, Josh, because you and Cheri and several other members of People1st and ADAPT have met with the mayor to talk about accessibility and making accommodations to the sidewalks and different things. Can you talk to us about what happened in that meeting, what transpired, and what you guys got done?
Yes, sir. I don't really recall much that happened because so much has been going on between then and now, but I'll just give you my recollection of events.
Please.
I'd say we got most, if not all of them, to agree on that the sidewalks needed improvement, that you know, that it was generally overall bad. The sidewalks were doing bad in that area.
Right, and didn't you guys provide them like specific photographs and
Correct.
and specific parts and pieces of sidewalks that needed to be fixed?
Yes, very good point, Ed.
Okay.
They had some sidewalks that were too steep. Some of them had a little lip down to the street.
Right. Many of them were unbroken and uneven.
Correct.
Right. And so some of them, in essence, were truly dangerous too for
Yes,
people
sir.
with disabilities,
Oh, yes,
right?
sir. I agree.
Right, because some of the inclines, or it could force you out into traffic. I mean, just the conditions in the state of the sidewalks here in Atlanta could definitely be improved upon. And
Yes.
Josh and Cheri were able to meet with the mayor over the anniversary of the 20th anniversary of the Disabilities Act, and they were able to get promises to accommodate and to make all the sidewalk situation here better, but also to make accessibility in general better here in the state of Georgia and in the city of Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
This is Zen Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I am here with Joseph Moreman, People First of Georgia. And Joseph is going to tell us about the different ways that People First of Georgia is working to get businesses to comply with ADA regulations and also to make their accessibility and accommodation measures better for people with disabilities.
Well, we've tried under the American Disabilities Act to go to the Department of Public Works and tell them, and we submitted some pictures of sidewalks, and the sidewalks were in disrepair, they weren't orderly, there were ramps that were broken, and so we gave them many of the sidewalks, and they promised to fix some of the key intersections. So we're just working with the Department of Public Works to get those key intersections fixed. And we're going to keep submitting pictures of sidewalks that are compliant with the American Disabilities Act, and hope that they fix them in order. They said they will comply with it. So we're just going to hold them to their word, and we'll be monitoring it and getting reports and see how many sidewalks are fixed.
All right, I went to the mayor's office. I sat with the mayor so we can get some work done.
That's right.
You know, I went to the governor's office. I didn't get to see him, but I got to leave my name.
Yeah.
You understand? Well, somebody's checking this out and somebody's on the case.
Right.
You understand? I was chairman for the ADA for 1 year, so I got some work done and some not. The fact is that money's allocated for us, so let's use it.
Let's use it in the right way.
Let's use it.
Exactly.
Because if we don't, well, they'll just transfer it to somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Or give it to some nursing home somewhere.
Somewhere else.
Exactly.
You understand? And that is the truth. I wish that there's a lot of things that I can do to help a lot of my comrades. You understand? Like I said, it's new to me, but before I got injured, I always helped with disability. My heart was always open. You understand me? I try not to look at it anyway, but one way is we got to keep on keeping on.
That's right.
Okay, me myself, I'm
they ain't gonna
fortunate.
do it for us.
Right. No, it don't work like that. Listen to me. You, me, well, I still got to pay bills, you know.
That's right.
I got a job.
That's right.
Now, being disabled don't mean too much to some of these folks because they still selling bills in my house.
Right, exactly.
So just
They
imagine.
still want theirs.
Boy, listen. Just imagine if I couldn't pay. Where do I go from here? I bet you I'll be going down the line. I'll be sitting up in a home or a shelter.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Okay? And that's...
They're going to store you somewhere.
They will store us somewhere. So listen, whatever storage we have, we got to take care of it.
Exactly.
We got to keep our own storage.
That's right.
You understand me? Just like what you're doing, you got to reach out and make it known.
That's
That,
right.
yo, we got people in the closet that they're just locked throwing the key away. People in the nursing homes that don't want to be there.
Right.
That don't make any kind of sense to me.
Who wants to be there?
You know, and it's a shame. It's not just the businesses. that because our whole scenario is business.
Exactly.
Okay.
It is.
Our whole scenario is business. Start with us.
That's right.
All right, because the money we get, other people, we got to pay the help. We got to pay our aides. We got to get paid. We got to pay the rent. We don't stay nowhere free. They want our Social Security check.
Exactly.
Okay, and we got to eat, move around, come to meetings. We have to live. We have to find a way to make means for us to live, because whatever money they do give us, trust me, it ain't going.
It ain't go that far, does it?
No, it doesn't. It ain't going.
No.
You know, they give me a check, Social Security, that knocks out, pays the rent. That's gone.
It. Exactly.
You know, I got some food stamps.
Right.
Okay, that ain't enough, so I got to cut down on his belly.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I have to get a little part-time job. Because I got to get some rent. Hell, I mean, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I gotta look. I want to look like somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I still feel. I want to feel good.
Absolutely.
You understand? You know, everything we do will affect the way we feel, and we feel from what we are.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
and
right.
first of all, we're still human.
That's right.
Okay. Whether or not I need help, or whether or not I can help myself, we are still human. You know better than me.
That's right.
Okay, I'm riding, you walking, and you walking, I'm riding. So, all right, but we still can call our shot. I know the difference. And for those of us who don't know the difference, we got her.
We got help.
And we got
good
my help. We
willing
got
to
people
help.
in our corner.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay. I mean, I can go on, but you don't want me in here too long.
Well, I want
ask me a question.
Yeah, I want to ask you for the world out there at large. Final comment to them. What do you want to just say to the world as far as dealing with us, people with disabilities? How should the world deal with us?
I want the world, the people who are not disabled, to look at us the way they would look at themselves.
Exactly. And to recognize it's a we.
It's a us. It's us.
Exactly, that's right. And
You
it's
know,
not
I still have
us
little
and
girls,
them,
right?
It's all of us.
It's not
together.
you versus me
That's
and me
right.
against you.
That's right.
And you know, it's us.
It's us, exactly.
It's us.
We the people.
Realize it's us because listen, I went to work,
Right.
not knowing I wouldn't be going home that day. I went to work.
Right.
I went straight to the hospital.
Right. Right.
Within 5 minutes, it was all different.
All different. Exactly.
Accident.
Exactly.
Some people are born disabled.
Right.
Some people become disabled.
Exactly. Or you gonna age and become disabled.
And you gonna age. Everybody gonna be disabled.
Exactly. At some point.
At some point in time. If you live long enough, you gonna feel it.
disabled.
Okay? So, I want the world to look at me. To look at us. To look at you. Okay? The way they would look at themselves.
Exactly.
Regular, normal.
That's right.
No different.
That's right.
Okay? Don't feel sorry. Okay? Just take me with you.
Exactly. And recognize me as you. As
That's
you said
it.
earlier.
That's it.
That's it.
I think that's the best answer. I was look at me the way you look at yourself when you look in the mirror.
Exactly.
Okay?
You know, People First of Atlanta, when we heard about these mini grants that People First of Georgia was offering, we wanted to bring attention to businesses, how they could be more welcoming to people with disabilities. And we talked about some of the issues that we had. Aisles not being wide enough, nobody to help.
Product on the floor.
Yeah, too much stuff on the floor, blocking the aisles. None of that, but needing, like, you know, a lot of, like, for me, I don't want a shopping cart. I would rather have a basket, right? So I had to bring that to the attention of the Walmarts that I go to because they didn't have baskets. They just had shopping carts and then the scooters. Well, I bring my own scooter. I'm in a power chair, you know. So, but I don't have a basket on my chair, and so I need a basket because I can hold that. But pushing a shopping cart around is just too much. It's too big.
Yeah.
So they finally got some baskets for us as well. And other things is assisting people, because like we have one member who has limited use of his hands.
Yes.
And I'm sure he told you his story.
Yes.
And then we have other members, you know, like for myself, I can't reach high shelves.
Right.
I can't reach low shelves.
Right.
So, you know, from time to time I'll have to go find somebody to help me to get those things. Another thing is, you know, the width of the aisles. Those aisles need to be at the least 4 feet wide.
Absolutely.
I know that whatever the ADA says, you know, but to be honest, it needs to be at least 4 feet wide. And the other thing about it is, don't have a bunch of stuff sitting in the aisle in front of the counters, because that limits the aisle width and you can't get down it.
Right.
You know, and then the some of the other things is when you get to checkout. I've had cashiers to refuse to get my stuff out of the basket. You know, because I can't lift the basket very well if it's very heavy.
Right.
You know, but at one point I did have a shopping cart one time because I had to get a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had somebody who was meeting me once I came through checkout, and they were going to take it home for me, right? And I had this big shopping cart in front of me, and the attendant, the cashier, was refusing to take the stuff out. So, you know, I politely said, you know, could we call the manager over here?
Yeah.
And then when the manager came over, the manager said, you know, under the ADA, you have to help them.
Yeah.
You have to help people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then another thing that really just ticked me off is these people need to learn disability etiquette. Because, you know, I went and asked for help, and the manager called. Somebody said, wheelchair needs help in aisle 4. I'm not a wheelchair.
Right.
You know, I am a person who uses a wheelchair.
Yeah.
We need to learn person first languages.
Yeah.
You know, we need to learn some disability sensitivity here.
Right.
So, and those kind of things, you know, I mean, those are things that businesses can do to be more welcoming to people with disabilities. Now, another thing that I heard about was people complaining about ATMs, in which we know that there's been a lot of stuff going on around ATMs, and that there actually has been a change, and that all the banks are going to have ATMs that are disability friendly.
Good.
So there's going to be a lot of changes going on with ATM machines soon, and that's a beautiful thing, because one of our members was complaining about the ATM machine being too tall, and he couldn't reach it, you know, to do the buttons. So, and that's a big deal. I mean, because we want to, you know, we have money too, you know, and we shouldn't be segregated out of going to a business because of their practices.
Right.
Of not making places disability friendly. It's not right.
Right.
You know, it is so not right. So that's what I have to say about that.
Excellent. Final comment for the world at large?
Final comment at the world at large. You know, people need to really get involved, and even, you know, and speak up when they see things that are not right. And sometimes, you know, just volunteer to help somebody. You know, say, do you need me to help you with that? You know, because I am forever stopping somebody saying, can you hand me this off the shelf? And most people will help me, but there are a few people who'll just walk right by me.
Right.
You know, and put their nose in the air. You know? So, I want people to realize that people with disabilities are people too.
Yes.
And we have the right to go to doors and buy things just like anybody else. And we deserve to be welcomed into their businesses just like anybody else, and we deserve good customer service.
Right.
Just like everybody else.
Right. Another reoccurring theme as far as the final comment is that you're going to deal with disability at some point yourself too.
Absolutely.
Whether it's aging or...
You might be 95 years old when it happens, but you're going to be a person of disability.
Exactly. Right.
You might age into it, but it's going to happen. You're going to be a person of
So-
disability, and then it's going to be happening to you.
So just consider yourself temporarily able-bodied.
Well, the thing about it is you just need to realize that if it's happening to me, it's going to happen to you.
Yeah. Or somebody that you know, family member.
Yes, exactly.
So that's why we're doing this.
That's it.
Thank you, Cheri.
Thank you.
I'm chairman of the committee for making the public more aware of our plight or our trying to get things more wheelchair friendly and accessible, like Walmart I go to, they need to have wider aisles. The has to be lower than up high. And in the bathroom, wheelchair accessible, because the dispenser is way up, the paper towels to dry off and the soap is way high. So
What are some of the other things that people with disabilities are finding as far as inaccessibility and things that need to be better accommodated for them?
Well, make sure the aisles getting in and out of the stores are easily accessible.
What about like not packing the aisles so much and leaving
yeah.
space so that people can get in and through?
And everything's so high, even in the bathroom. And as I said, if you don't have a person to assist you, it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when they say accessible bathrooms for people with disabilities or people that use electric wheelchairs, they're really not accessible.
No, like the handrails are not real, either on both sides, and I think the commodes are supposed to be raised, I believe, and they're not. So,
what are some of the proposals that you would like to bring forth to these businesses to get them to accommodate? And in you speaking with them, are they willing to address these problems?
They seem to think that everything's okay.
Okay, so
I guess I just have to ask the manager maybe to assist or follow me or go with me, so I can really point
show
things
them,
out.
truly show them. Yeah. In speaking with the Walmart, do they seem willing to do that? To have somebody go around with you to
That's
really?
one of my future things to do.
One of the future things to do. Okay, great. Well, what would you say to the business community, Barbara, as far as making accessibility and accommodation?
I would say that I really trade there a lot. I do get my groceries and supplies and household things, and I want to continue, doing business with them. But,
right.
But some things, in my opinion, needs to change.
Right, absolutely. And also for the business leaders out there in the business community.
Absolutely.
People with disabilities are 25% of the population. We're 1/4, and we have a lot of spending power. We have a lot of money to, and we have to live in the community too. And so, well, thank you, Barbara, and I appreciate all your efforts on behalf of People1st of Georgia. Okay, Matthew, can you tell us about your and your friends' accessibility issues with MARTA?
Okay. Well, like I said before, was that we're having a little trouble getting Evan back and forth from the North Fulton Training Center where he goes to school. And so what they're doing now is they're not staying long enough to pick him up to take him to work. But what I'm trying to do is trying to get this thing resolved, even though he can't say it, but he needs help getting around town. So I think with my voice heard, because he can't say it, I'm gonna be his voice and trying to help him to get around town so he can get to wherever he's going and stuff like this.
Bobby Stealy. I'm from Henry County, Stockbridge area, and this first time I've been to this People1st meeting, and I really enjoy it. But also, I have problems going in these smaller stores, Dollar General, Dollar Tree and stuff. Their aisles they try to get everything in the store, and there's no room for us, in wheelchairs. You have to have somebody go in there to take, and I don't like that. But and also I've seen problem with bathrooms. Some bathroom, wheelchair accessible bathroom, people go in there all the time, leave them a mess. Leave them, not even flush the commodes, not even pull paper over there. I've been several businesses, even these big department stores have been like that. So, you know, I just, you know, have that thing. I try and meet people and everything, which Henry County is not the best place to meet disabled people and everything. But I just try to do best I can because I, you know, want to help people. I want to do things.
Yeah.
I feel that people have to get in their stuff and shop without asking too much help, because there is things up high I don't,
Right.
Like doing, but I have to ask, and sometimes people are not there, and it hits you, and they're supposed to be there, but they're not.
This is Zen Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I'm with Andrew of People1st Georgia. Andrew's going to tell us a little bit about his experience with inaccessible businesses and the lack of accommodation.
Okay, I'd be glad to talk about the various things that take place. Because this disability thing just came upon me not too many years ago. And now, I see how they treat people who have disabilities. They discriminate against people who have disabilities.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you how they do that. Okay? First of all, they look at you like, well, what are you doing in here? You ain't supposed to be here.
Right.
We don't care nothing about you. I mean, that's the vibe that you get from a lot of people. It's like, and then if you ask people to assist you, they kind of look at you like, why you want some assistance? What do you need? Why are you causing this problem? It's not a problem. It's called assistance, customer service. I am a customer.
Right.
I am a guest in your place. Now that's the big thing. They like to call us guests now. When you come to a Walmart or you come to any business, you're a guest now. Okay, so you're supposed to have accommodations for your guests. And some places don't have that. They don't care anything about you because you have a disability and you're different. So let me get away. They'll try to get away and find somebody else to deal with the situation. Not me, because I work with regular folks. I don't work with people with disabilities. Now, with people that have disabilities, we have to take certain responsibilities to know who are helping us. What is the name of the bus driver that disrespected you? What is the name of the bus driver that didn't assist you? What is the name of the supervisor that left you 4 hours late for the MARTA bus? And the MARTA bus driver, the supervisor, which I personally gave him an accommodation, is because he explained everything to me. He said, we have bus drivers and we have other bus drivers that are here for their money. And they're here to get paid.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about. They don't care about going the extra mile for somebody.
Right.
Which, that's what you have to do for people with a disability.
Absolutely.
You have to sometimes go the extra mile. But you have to go the extra mile to know who is going the extra mile.
Right, and who's not.
And a lot of times, we don't do that. Because everybody's disability is different.
Right.
Some people have disabilities because they can't verbalize certain things. Some people are not cognitive to understand certain things. They don't have the cognitive ability to understand certain things. So what you have to do is you have to make people aware of the situation, because sometimes they don't even know you have a disability.
Right.
You might not have a cane, or you might not have a wheelchair, but you might be afflicted in another way.
Right.
And you have to make them aware. First of all, hold on, excuse me, miss. Excuse me, sir. I have a disability. Could you possibly help me?
Right.
Because now once you make them aware of that, and they want to act like the fool, or the joker, that's another thing. But see, if you don't make them aware of the fact that you have a disability,
they can't read your mind.
They can't read your mind, absolutely.
All right, Josh. Well, tell us about the next aspect of your focus, because People First of Georgia is now working on getting businesses to be more compliant as far as ADA regulations, and also in meeting accessibility and accommodation needs.
Yes, sir. As in fact, what started all this for me was my family and I were eating at a restaurant a long time ago. That's not really a business per se, not like a department store, but a restaurant. And what I in fact found out after meeting with the general manager, yes, I took it all the way to the manager, was that there was no ramp. So that night I wrote a letter to the restaurant manager, politely asking him to investigate the situation. And as of yet, there is a ramp. So there has been some good out of that, but it's a long way down from where we usually park. So it's like, okay, we pull in, but the curb cut's not right there. Instead, I have to go all the way down in the street, in a parking lot, where a car could start backing out at any time and go up that way, where there is a ramp.
But before, they didn't even have a ramp. And
No, sir.
So
No,
with
sir.
your letter, they were at least willing to put one in.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's good. And I find that in dealing with businesses, that's the easiest way to approach them is to write a letter and address your specific needs and ask them to accommodate.
Oh, that is
And then if they don't do it then oftentimes you can just either get in touch with the manager or get the media involved. And
Oh,
when
that
you
is
have
very much
cameras
correct.
involved, then you get a lot of things done.
Yes, sir.
I'm here with Jerry Gray of People First of Georgia, and Jerry's going to tell us about some of his experiences dealing with businesses that are neither accessible or accommodating.
As a whole, I'm very appreciative. You know, a lot of stores not accessory, but by me can't raise my arm but so high. I understand they really. I am proud they work with me. No, I understand. No, I can't complain too much because if I wanted something off the shelf, I can't get it. 9 times out of 10, they really will work with me. They try to get it from me. No.
So when you go into the store, what do you do? Do you just go up to the store clerk and ask them to provide somebody that can help you with your shopping?
Not necessarily. It's getting a little worse here lately. My arm going down a little bit more. But pretty much I try to do what I can. If I see somebody that I can't reach it, I
ask the individual.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily just a store person,
No,
but you find that just individuals are willing to help.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. If you don't have somebody like a person that can help you, just a regular patron, do you find that the stores they provide somebody to help you to follow you around?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're actually having good experiences with businesses as far as them being willing to assist you. Well, that's good, Jerry.
Yeah,
I'm really glad for that.
It's a blessing, though, I think.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, it's a blessing, though.
That's really good. That's really good. This is Zen Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I'm here with William Stridiron of People First of Georgia. And William is going to tell us a little bit about his experiences in dealing with businesses that are neither accessible nor accommodating.
Right. Well, you know, I do a lot of eating out and I do a lot of shopping. I shop for myself and other people in my caliber, you know. I broke my neck a couple years ago, so this disability is brand new to me. Things are not the way they were.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And helping and taking care and supporting myself the way I used to is no longer the way it is. You know, I have to ask for help and depend on help from the outside and other people. And that's not as green as it says, you know what I'm saying? You have to grow up real fast with a disability. And being that I'm still active in my mind, I'm still feeling and thinking I can get out there and run and jump and move around. And, you know, so I deal inside with that handicap. I'm very humble. So when I go out and go shopping, you know, it's not for me. The stores are not made for me. The stores are made for who I used to be. Okay? And when I go to a store, whether it's supermarket, Pathmark, Macy's, where, you know, to spend my money, I only see maybe someone else in my caliber. It's me against the world.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So everything I look at or I see, you know, I have to readjust, you know, my wants and needs. Because when I'm out in Macy's, for instance, you know, Macy's prices were high. So, but I wanted to look at some things. When the sales lady realized that I wasn't going to actually spend no money, she lost interest in helping me.
Or even acknowledging you.
Right. She lost the interest at Macy's, so that means I didn't get to see or try on things that I wanted to deal with. Because, you know, everything is not, you know, right here. It's not right here. You know, you have to get up. In a lot of cases, you know, I can move around a little bit, but, you know, I don't have the mobility with my arms, you know, to do things. You know, I find that sad. You understand? Because that means when I go out, I have to take someone with me. And that eliminates my independence. You understand?
Yes.
It's not always that somebody's going to be available for me. Okay? Unfortunately, our handicap became a business. So, if we can't pay for the help, we might not have no help. Or if the help's not getting paid to help, then they're not going to do it. And I can understand that. But that eliminates me wanting to go out to Targets. It eliminates me wanting to go to Walmart, Macy's. You understand? Because first of all, I got to figure out, just like when I go to Greenbrier Mall, I got to say, well, I can't always take my scooter chair. I might get a ride, and then hey, they don't have any wheelchairs.
They can't take them.
So I can't go in the mall. They don't have wheelchairs. All of the big stores, big but small, should have a wheelchair. You understand? If you got 5, 10, 15 aisles in that store, you should have a wheelchair and someone to help that person. In every store should have someone to accommodate the disabled. No, all right. That's
and to cater to all the different types of disabilities.
Disabled. I don't mean me. I mean whatever the disability is. We need help. That person needs help, and some sales representative in every or any one of them stores should accommodate the disabled. You know, if you go in this little food mart, they'll come from behind the counter and get what you want and help you. Well, we should have that same service.
Because it ain't like disability's new.
It's not new.
We've been here since humans have been
and we
here.
got money too. And we have to eat and live or whatever. Also, if they put a ramp in front of that store, if they got an automatic door, then they got to follow through with the rest. You know, it's just you don't let me in and let me go. Make sense? You know.
Absolutely.
And it's sad. Okay, but we can't get caught up in that sadness. We got to stay strong and move.
That's right.
You know,
and we got to do what we got to do to make changes.
Watch this.
To make it happen.
It is what it is. When you realize that, we got to make it work.
That's right. This is Zen Garcia with EndeavorFreedom.tv, and I'm here with Cheryl Lorendo of People1st of Georgia, and she's going to talk to us about her efforts in getting businesses to comply with ADA regulations and also to address their accessibility and accommodation needs.
Okay. My favorite story happened a while back, but when I first got involved with the disability community, the high-rise I was living in had no stores around except for a little convenience store about 2 blocks down, but it wasn't accessible. So thanks to the things I learned from people in Atlanta about ADA, I made a point to go down to the little convenience store every day for 2 weeks. I would get somebody coming in and say, would you please ask the manager to come out here? And I would think up some little something I had to ask them to go and get for me. And whenever they would bring it to me, I'd say, well, is this the only choice? Let me see another one, you know. Anyway, within 2 weeks, we had curb cut.
Yes.
So I was able to
Awesome.
go in the store by myself.
Awesome.
And really, you know, if everybody just took on their own neighborhood
Right, right.
and made it accessible.
Then yeah, all neighborhoods would be.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do have some pet peeves, though. I know I heard somebody earlier talking about stores that are too cluttered and you can't get around in them
Right.
because, you know, that
we
is...
do need to turn around at some point.
Well, it is an ADA regulation,
Yes.
how wide the aisles must be,
Right.
without things to knock them over. And the first few times I knocked things over, I got all upset. Now I don't get upset.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't supposed to be there, they weren't
That's
supposed to be
right.
there. I try to be careful.
Yeah. But if you can't.
You can't, you can't. They have to go pick it up. But one of the things that has bothered me the most lately, especially when I go to a grocery store or someplace like Target or something, I'm very independent. And I always ask the cashier to let me bag my own stuff. Because it's easier for me to bag it, since I have to carry it all on my chair,
Right.
than to tell every clerk every time I go somewhere how to do it.
Right, right.
And anyway, for last year or so, I've had the biggest problem with strangers in line wanting to come grab my stuff. It pissed me off. The thing is, if they tried that with somebody standing up face to face with them, they'd dump them on their butt. You know? And I don't appreciate it. And I know people want to get all upset and say, well, I was trying to help. Well, no. Helping is when you ask the person if they want your help and then take the answer they give you.
That's right.
Because with most people, if they're not asking for help, it's because they don't want somebody bugging them. You know? And most people, if they do need help, know how to ask for it.
Right. Exactly.
And I understand, because I like to help people too. I do it day in and day out, all day long. But I ask even other people with disabilities, I'm going to ask them first if they want me to help them with something. Because not everybody wants you to.
Right.
And I'm one of them.
Right, right.
But there are a lot of pet peeves that all of us have. But I'm going to tell you about one that this doesn't necessarily have to do with a store per se. But back in 2006, I got run over in my wheelchair. And my pelvis was busted from one end to the other.
Oh my God.
I ended up in a nursing home for a while.
Oh my God.
And when I hit the pavement, and all I can tell you is my angels pushed me out of the chair. Because when I hit the pavement and turned and looked, the front wheel of that car was sitting where I am and had squished my chair down to that high.
Oh my goodness.
In fact, my vendor keeps that chair to show people.
Wow.
The thing is, now, when I go places, and I'm going to cross the street or cross a driveway or something, I wait until the cars are gone and out of my way, you know? And I've had drivers who want to get mad at me because they have stopped for me to go, and I'm saying no, because they're looking at me. They're not looking at all the cars around them that got impatient because they stopped and they're fixing to swerve around. They can't see me over that person's car. That's how I got hit.
Yes.
The lady stopped for me.
Oh my goodness.
I knew better, but I was in a hurry to catch the bus.
Uh-huh.
And I was in front of her car when the one behind her, who couldn't see me, and was on a cell phone and impatient, whipped around and hit me dead on.
Oh my goodness.
So people need to realize that if a person's in a wheelchair, just leave them alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless they are asking for help.
Right.
Because I've had people almost hit me, just, you should see where I live.
Just trying to be overly courteous?
No, because most people, I think it's one of those things they taught us about in sociology classes, that there are people who literally cannot see a person in a wheelchair or a fat person because in our society it's not okay to be overweight or to have a disability. And a lot of people, you literally become invisible to them.
They just tune it out.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many cars have almost hit me right on the street where I live.
Oh, goodness, Cheryl.
And in the high-rise I live in, just this past year, 4 people got hit by cars.
Goodness.
And it's not a really busy street. So, you know, I don't know if we'll ever solve this, but I personally would like to see more media attention in the public.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I have thought about doing, just never acted on it or had the money to, was make some little stickers that just say, just ask. You know, put them on your chair, put them anywhere. Just ask. That's all a person has to do. And you can pretty much tell who are the people who really want to help. Those are the folks that will ask and then listen to you.
Right.
The ones who want to go ahead and do, you know, start putting their hands on you anyway, they don't want to help. Those are people with control issues. They want to control somebody weaker than them. Fortunately, my mouth is bigger than anything. But anyway, those, I guess, are my worst pet peeves. You know, there's a lot of simple, annoying things. You know, if I've got the door open and I'm fixing to come through and somebody has run across the room to stand in my way, to hold the door open that I've already got open, and now they're in my way and I can't go through the door. You know, and people kind of get upset if you say, would you just move? You know? So you have to stop and be nice to them. And I think a lot of it's just that people don't think.
Right.
They don't think about a lot of things. When I first got involved in the disability community, I used to get real upset about badly made curb cuts and things like that. Until I finally realized one day, I had made friends with a person who was blind. And I had never considered what blind people have to go through.
Oh, goodness.
Until I had a friend who was blind.
No doubt.
But what I realized was people really don't think about things they're not personally involved with.
Exactly.
And I have to tell you, the first thing I think about is not what a person who's blind has to go through. I'm going to think about it quicker now that I've had friends who have visual impairments, but it's not the first thing I think about. You know, first thing I'm thinking about is mobility disability.
Yeah, because that's your experience. Yeah.
Right. I love people that want to help. They just ask.
Yes.
It's so simple. Just 2 words. Just ask. And that is for anybody, person with a disability or not. Do you need help? Would you like some help? No, thank you. You know.
No thanks, I'm good.
Yeah, and then don't keep trying to grab my stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, or put your hands on me. That's a no-no. I mean, anybody who's standing up face to face with somebody else who's a stranger is going to get very irate if that stranger starts putting their hands on them.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people seem to think that if you have a disability, that gives them the right to do and say anything they want to.
Right.
And that's not respect.
Yeah.